thing. You know, this attitude we sometimes have, may Allah forgive us. But I made dua, you know, like I made dua for it, which means it better come and it better come in the form that I ask, and it better come on the time scale that I wrote, right? Whenever, you know, you get this sort of, this attitude sometimes where you're like, but God, but Allah, I asked for it. You know, it's like, as if we're in charge, right? We're in charge of what Allah does, when He does it, how he passes out His blessings. And it's like, but I said, it's almost like, I mean, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not talking to a child like, didn't I tell you to do, you know, to clean your room? Like, who are we talking to in this way? Unfortunately, sometimes we don't have adab with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We act as though Allah is working for us. A'udhu billah. You know, Allah's not a genie in a bottle. You know, give me my wishes. You know, like I own you and you better give me what I ask for and you better give it to me when I ask for it. This is a very, very, very bad attitude, and it's a very poisonous attitude. This isn't the way we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't make demands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're the beggars. Remember that. Allah's the king, right? We're not in charge. We're not the ones who tell Allah what to do. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears our dua, but that's because that's out of His mercy. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, the way in which Allah gives us our dua and the time scale by which Allah chooses, that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't dictate these things. And so sometimes people, unfortunately, we have this weakness where we sort of try to use religion. You know what I mean? Like we're using dua to get the material things that we want. And it's fine to make dua for nice things, right? It's okay to make dua for dunya, as long as obviously it's halal. But we have to be careful because the ultimate objective is not dunya, right? It's almost like our ultimate objective is dunya. It's like, I want a big house. I want this type of spouse. I want this much money. I want this much status. So let's see, how am I going to get there? Well, I heard that we can use religion to get there. You know, there's this thing in religion that we can use called dua. And let's use that to get to our ultimate objective. And then, and here again, there's nothing wrong with making dua for these things. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Oh Allah, give us good in this life, give us good in the next life, and protect us from the hellfire. Great. But here's the problem, is what is our attitude when we don't get our demands? How are we asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then how do we behave when we don't get our way? That's very telling, right? Who's in charge here? Like, who's in charge? Are we in charge or is Allah in charge? Remember, we need to stay in our lane, right? We need to remember that we are the beggars. We are the beggars. That's why dua is like this. Because you're literally begging from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're the beggars and He is the king. نَحْنُ الْفُقَرَاء. We are the poor and He is the rich. وَأَنْتَ الْغَنِيُّ. Right? أَنْتَ الْغَنِيُّ وَنَحْنُ الْفُقَرَاء. You are the rich. You are the one who doesn't need anything or anyone. And we are the poor. We are the ones who are begging. So we just have to really know our place. You know, like stay in our lane a little bit. Allah's not working for us. Okay? We are working for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is out of His generosity that He gives us our dua. It isn't like He owes us. This is the attitude we have to understand. That this attitude of, but I asked, why didn't He give? He owes me. That is poisonous. You know, and we have to be very, very mindful of not having that attitude that Allah owes us something. Looking at ourselves as either powerless victims or entitled. Both of these are toxic. Both of these are toxic. And then lastly, comparing ourselves to others, absolutely toxic. We need to realize that we have blessings and tests, and so do others. Everyone has both blessings and tests. Do not focus on other people's blessings and think that they don't have tests. And definitely do not focus on only your hardships and forget your blessings, because if you do that, you will fall into ingratitude and despair. Always focus on what you have and it will grow at some point, no matter how hopeless. As long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has still given us breath, then there is still hope. And we can always get back up and we can always come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah can always change our condition. Never ever think that anything is permanent in this life. Nothing is permanent in this life. Whether that is a condition that you like or a condition that you don't like. This life is always changing, and so never ever feel helpless or hopeless. If there's something about your condition that you don't like, it can always change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the turner of hearts, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the turner of condition. Remember that all Allah has to do is say be, and it is.